Okay, hi guys, I'm back. What? We're still talking paperwork. I know the paperwork is annoying, but understand it's okay. We're getting through this. Again, to reiterate what is happening, IHip is the second step into your process. And this will be going to, again, the superintendent or the homeschool at nyc.gov if you're in New York City. Okay, that being said, ninth through 12th grade is also different from the rest. The hours are still 990 for the 180 days, still 4 quarters. Again, this is accumulative, so this will add up for their high school career. So what are the requirements? Again, this can be divided into however you want to put it in the next 4 years if you're starting from the beginning. If you're not starting from the beginning, that's a whole other conversation. And I will talk to you guys in a different video about how to compute the difference. But basically, I believe it's 2 credits per 1 unit. Don't quote me on that. I got to double check that. I will have a whole other video on that, just to be clear. All right, so let's talk what is mandatory regulation requirements for 9th through 12th grade. Your child will need 4 units of English. By the way, if you don't remember, a unit is 108 hours. 4 units of social studies, which includes 1 unit of American history, half a unit of government, and half a unit of economics. Math is 2 units, science is 2 units, art so you can divide that, of music, which is 1 unit. Health education is half a unit, which must include alcohol, drug, and tobacco use. Again, I also put in highway traffic safety as well as fire safety and prevention in there because that is mandatory every single year. PE is 2 units and 3 units of electives. So I'm just going to remind you guys, no matter how many units you take for a year, it's not going to necessarily add up to 990 hours. Now, can your child graduate early? Absolutely. Can your child take dual enrollment credits for, 9th through 12th grade? It's usually 10th grade to 12th grade, but yes, if your child is taking a dual enrollment and you're homeschooling, those will count. I just want to explain that though you may have to make up some of those hours for those units. I will talk about that in the college. I'll do a whole video on the college thing. But just to be clear, some of those hours, class hours plus homework hours, don't always commute to the 108 hours given. I'll do a whole video on that, but you can put that in when it comes to like your resource in class. All right, that being said, let's get to the IHip portion. Okay, as with the other IHIPs, you still need your name and your address, your child's name, date of birth, age, grade. Now, again, this is a whole cumulative, so you can do this as you like. If your child wants to take 2 to 4 credits in a year, that's perfectly fine. As long as in the end of the 4 years, or as long as by the time that they graduate, they can graduate early, that all credits are done. Now, the age of 16 is the end of when you have to report by, but they can still continue after that as long as their units are done. And the state can give you a letter of completion. Not always will they do that, but usually by the age of 16 if their units are done. So just making that clear. All right, as with all IHIPs, you will put your subject, you will put a couple of topics, your resources as usual, like Khan Academy, Time for Learning, whatever curriculum or resources you plan on using, and then the units that you would intend to do by. Again, if you're coming into this high school years, you will have to figure out what your child actually needs. All right, so I did cover the regulations and what they have to be doing. All right, so with that being said, again, the health is mandatory every single year. I know that's frustrating. I always put the subject matter to change is capable of changing, whatever the phrase is. Um, that allows you to change up any topics or materials you plan on using. That could be curriculum. It's okay to switch. Don't worry, not a big deal. You will just note it on the next quarterly of when you are next to report. Not a big deal. Um, as far as the quarterly dates, I'm going to say this again, as I've said with the IHip 1 through 6 and 7th and 8th. Quarterly dates need to be a minimum of 45 days apart and cover 180 days total. Now, the hours, I will cover how to write the quarterly reports. Let me just explain that, okay? I'm not going to talk about the hours. The dates, okay. So New York State has 4 suggestive dates, and they are all between July 1st and June 30th. So what that means is, according to the homeschooling school year, July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022 is the school year. Your 45 days has to be between that window. Okay? It's okay if you don't homeschool over the summer. It's okay if you take off a month or two, as long as 45 days in between each one is recorded. All right? As a first-time homeschooler, I will suggest using those dates because it makes your life a lot easier to remember. They are all over the internet. If you are not planning on doing that and you're planning on switching it like I do, and I will just tell you, despite homeschooling for over 7 years, I still forget when my quarterly reports are due. Now, I do remember when my next one is due because that's coming up. I have my second quarterly due December 31st. It's okay if it's late. I think it's a weekend and nobody's going to be there anyway, so it's not like a big deal. But I will be just emailing it in to my superintendent. That's not a big deal. They know me. They're like, okay, you're on top of things. They were shocked that I was like way ahead when it came for the school year. So that was kind of funny. But it will be in on time. I am a year-round unschooler. So what that means is I homeschool him every day, the whole year, right? We don't stop. Do we take off some days? Yes and no. I'll give him a day off, like we just had 4 days off. And what that means is I don't have anything planned for him based off the topics he wants. We just kind of tend to roll with it. That's kind of what unschoolers do anyway. But it's just kind of like I don't plan on doing any school. But will he find something to learn? Absolutely. He always does. Even when it's a no day, he's like, Mom, I want to learn something. So it is what it is. He's kind of used to it at this point. It's like, I give up. I give up on trying to not do a day off. That's what I meant. Learning happens all day, every day, all day long. Like, trust me. All right. So that being said, I report every 3 months because I like the fact that it actually reflects our school year, and then it can reflect into what I am. I want to build a portfolio for him. Not necessary, not mandatory for New York, but I just like to have something so he can look back on those years and remember, and I can see his progress. All right, we're going to move on to the quarterly reports and how to write that up. I will see you in that video.